Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely rewire how you think about wealth. We're dismantling this massive illusion that just having a high salary automatically makes you rich. If you've ever thought that simply making more money is the magic bullet to financial freedom, well, this is exactly the explainer for you. We're going to look closely at the data and the human behaviors that prove real wealth isn't just about the number that hits your bank account on payday. So let's dive right into what is honestly a massive paradox. Have you ever wondered why some people pulling in huge six-figure salaries are still living paycheck to paycheck? I mean, they have the fancy title, they get the big end-of-year bonus, and yet behind closed doors, they are financially struggling just to keep their heads above water. Meanwhile, you have average earners making a fraction of that amount who are quietly building real generational wealth. What exactly is the difference here? Well, it boils down to this. It's not about how much you earn, but what you actually do with what you make. The high earner often gets trapped in this endless cycle of consumption, literally constantly chasing the next purchase just to match their income level. It's exhausting. The average earner, however, is playing a completely different game. They're focused on accumulation. It's a fascinating psychological divide, and to really understand it, we need to break down the specific daily habits that separate these two groups. Let's start our diagnosis with part 1, the spending traps. Now, the ultimate financial trap, the one that catches almost everyone, is lifestyle inflation. The moment you get a raise, the immediate instinct is to just upgrade everything, right? You want the bigger house, a newer car, those Instagram-worthy vacations, designer clothes, and before you even realize what happened, your expenses have risen exactly as fast as your new income. So you were earning more, sure, but you're keeping absolutely nothing. You're essentially just running faster on the exact same treadmill. When the average person gets a bump in pay, they immediately upgrade that lifestyle. But the wealthy, they do the exact opposite. When their income goes up, they increase their investments first. They prioritize their future over their present comfort. They don't inflate their lifestyle, they inflate their wealth-building engines. It's this fundamental shift in priority from wanting to look rich right now to actually being rich later. And compounding this lifestyle inflation is something we all battle for sure: emotional spending. Our financial decisions are so often hijacked by our feelings. Think about it. Stress from a really long week at work, simple boredom on a Sunday afternoon, or that heavy unspoken social pressure to keep up with your friends and neighbors. These emotions lead straight to unnecessary impulsive purchases. True wealth is built by making intentional, rational financial decisions, not emotional ones that just offer a fleeting dopamine hit. Which brings us nicely to part 2, the earning and investing gap. Just look at the number 1. This single number represents how many income sources most people rely on. Just one job, just one paycheck. And while one paycheck might successfully pay your monthly bills, it is incredibly fragile. It rarely, if ever, creates true financial freedom. If that one stream dries up, you are instantly in a crisis. It's like sitting on a stool with only one leg. To avoid being entirely dependent on just one boss and one job, the wealthy operate totally differently. They actively build multiple streams of income. We're talking investments, owned businesses, digital assets, and passive income. They understand a very simple core rule of wealth. The more income streams you have, the less dependent and vulnerable you are. You're creating an unshakable financial foundation. So the crucial point is knowing the difference between consumption and wealth building. It all comes down to liabilities versus assets. Most people spend their hard-earned money on liabilities, things like cars or designer goods that literally lose value the second you buy them. But the wealthy, they focus relentlessly on acquiring assets. These are things that actually have the potential to grow in value over time, or better yet, generate their own income. It's not about never enjoying life, it's about making sure your money is out there buying things that make you more money.
Now, a lot of this is driven by a massive financial ignorance gap. Our schools do a fantastic job teaching us how to be good employees and earn a paycheck, but they leave us entirely financially ignorant about how to actually manage that money. We aren't taught budgeting, the nuances of investing, how to legally navigate taxes, the dangers of bad debt, or the absolute magic of compound growth. This lack of education forces most people to learn these lessons the hard way, which usually means losing money.
So how do we fix it? That brings us to part 3, the wealth-building mindset. We so often tell ourselves, oh, I'll start investing next year, or I'll start after I get that promotion, or once every single expense is paid off, then I'll invest. Actually, scratch that. Avoiding investing because you are waiting for the perfect time is a massive mistake. The perfect time is an absolute illusion, and waiting for it actively steals from your future. Because in the world of wealth, time is arguably your absolute most valuable asset. The Wealth Builder's timeline starts on day one by putting away tiny, seemingly insignificant amounts. Years later, the goal is simply to stay consistent. Decades later, that is when you experience the explosive power of compounding. The earlier you start, the less heavy lifting you have to do later in life. But getting to those decades requires surviving what I call the slow build. You have to master 3 critical steps: practice patience, maintain consistency, and execute discipline. Building wealth is usually incredibly slow, and honestly, it can be pretty boring. You have to survive the overwhelming urge to give up or drastically change your strategy before the results actually become visible. Most people quit right before the compounding curve shoots upward. The reality is, wealth isn't built by one lucky crypto investment you made at 2 a.m. It isn't built by landing one massive paycheck or winning the lottery. Real, sustainable wealth is built through hundreds, if not thousands, of smart, small financial decisions repeated over many, many years. Becoming wealthy doesn't start when you earn more. It starts when you manage what you already have more wisely. If you take away just one thing from our time together today, let it be this incredibly powerful distinction. Your salary can create income, but your habits create wealth. Your salary gets you in the game, it buys the groceries, it keeps the lights on, but your daily discipline, your ability to delay gratification, and your commitment to buying assets, those are what actually create wealth. Your paycheck is the fuel, but your habits are the engine. Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. And I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to audit your own life. Are your daily money habits building your future, or are they quietly stealing it? Take a hard look at your bank statements this week. The answer is hiding right there in the data. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I highly encourage you to start making those small, smart decisions today.